the 5 constituents of karma. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, "Learn from me, O mighty armed one, these 5 factors for the accomplishment of all actions, which have been spoken in the Vedanta, and in which all actions become fulfilled." This topic today is these 5 constituents of karma. This world is called Karma Bhumi, the plane of karma. The very fact that we have a body indicates that we are designed to work, nothing else. It also means that this body has been acquired through work done somewhere in the past. Karma is not just a simple law of cause and effect. It's the most complex mechanism that has ever been put in place by nature. And so, the world is karma. The body is wrought by karma. And in this, you can't escape doing work. The only problem is we don't take that responsibilities for the work we do. If you can, it's going to revolutionize our lives. We must be able to take responsibilities for everything we think and speak and do. That will make us into a powerhouse. So these powers and possibilities of karma are immense. It's so immense, a lot of the Eastern religions have done away with the personal God as being superfluous. It's not required because all existential questions can be answered by this doctrine of karma. Yes. Otherwise, we have to blame God. Why she has to be blamed for something? Why don't you take the blame on yourself? That's the idea of Eastern philosophy and religions. People grumble about, I don't have anything, I don't have friends, I don't have family, I don't have any competency, I don't have anything, nobody loves me. My God, grumblers. Swamiji says, to a grumbler, all tasks are distasteful. If they only knew the power that they possess, the power to work, it will take away all these kind of negative thoughts and feelings that we have about ourselves, about the world, about the people, and about everything. And so, Eastern religions, called Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, all the isms in the East, they are not faith-based religions like you have in the West. Faith-based, have faith, have belief. No, they are karma-based. That's a fundamental difference between these two outlooks of life. You don't need to believe anything. You better believe in what you're capable of doing. Believe in yourself. Like Swamiji says, if you don't have faith in yourself and if you have faith in all the 330 million gods, 3.3 billion gods rather, there is no salvation for you. So he expressly said, you've got to have faith in yourself. Faith in what? In the very power that has been conferred on you by your very birth. That is a powerful statement. So the body is designed for work and nothing else. That is something to be contemplated upon. So whatever we do, every movement, walking, talking, this, that, etc., everything is karma. The very fact that we have sensory and motor organs means that even the subtlest thoughts running through our minds can become embodied. Feelings can be embodied. You ever seen an angry person? You ever seen a person who is experiencing joy? Joy is embodied here. Anger is embodied. Love is embodied. Stupidity also is embodied, of course. So whatever we do is karma. Thinking, feeling, willing. And to make things easy, or depends on how you look at it, we remember all these things that we've done. That's another additional mechanism put in the place of. You can't get away from what you have thought or done. It's recorded in the deep mind. And at times it will surface, at times it will influence you. And if you have done enough of those things, they will orient you towards those particular things. So don't blame nature, don't blame any deity. There you are. You are creating and recreating yourself every moment. Yes. So the mind is very plastic. We knew that. It's material, of course. And now neurology says, yeah, the brain is plastic. Yeah. Can do it. There is no such thing as destiny written in the stars and you cannot come out of that destiny. Sorry. Swami Vivekananda is very clear. He's saying, you are the creator of your own destiny. All the strength and succor that you need is within yourself. Therefore, manifest your own future. This is a clarion call for all of us, that we can do a future. Okay. So we remember all these things and they come out as instincts and kind of intuitions, memories. And these also can be countered. The fake memories or false memories or wrong memories can be countered with the right memories. That is, you do an action. See, we are embodied beings. We learned how to act first before we could even think. There is a school of, you can say, philosophy that is saying we acted and then we contemplated on those actions and then we kept on building upon those things. So we act. Okay. So there are some functions which are going on within all of us that are done subconsciously. So there is something called the conscious work with the sense of I am the doer, and there is something called the subconscious work. But the subconscious work was initially done with the sense of the self, because you can't do anything without the sense of the self. There is a higher level of the mind where work can be done without the sense of the self, the ordinary phenomenological self. And that is done by the higher sense of self, which we have been discussing for some time. Okay. Now this is one of the most complex web that we have become entangled in. or rather, we are just like nodes on a vast network, and each one is doing his or her own work. We influence the world with our work, and the world influences us. It's a great kind of controller. Governments and people and cultures and society tells you, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Yeah, it is. And in India, we had these old law books written by sages, the do's and the don'ts. That is how people were controlled also by this kind of karma. The external world itself controls us in a way. You just can't go underwater and breathe, or you don't put your finger into fire and say, it's cold. The external world dictates what you can do and what you can do. It guides you. It constrains you, rather. The very fact that even religions have been responsible for telling you do this and do that, because people have not been thinking what should be done or what ought to be done. They go like the sheep, this kind of herd mentality. The moment you start understanding the dynamics of karma, you are going to start thinking for yourself. You are going to take responsibility for yourself and not throw the responsibility on someone else, on society, on priests or prophets, anyone else, on God. So, the karma that we do has two aspects, the individual and the collective. Your karma impacts the world in a definite way. If you go, say, to a place of ill repute, the people there are doing a particular type of work, and that whole atmosphere is so cloying, it's so kind of unwelcome. For us, of course, there are those guys who are oriented towards that kind of. Karma has an effect on the individual as well as the collective. So, part of what you do returns to you, part of what you do goes out in this world and impacts the world. Suppose you go to a place, say a church or something else, where you pray. You see the atmosphere there, you see the people there. Even people who are not prayerful, they will come and suddenly feel that, oh my God, this is a very peaceful place and one should pray here. So we make not only ourselves, we make our surroundings, our ambience. That also needs to be taken into account. Okay. So these are powerful factors, and like Swamiji says, we get caught because of our expectations, not because of what we do. So Swamiji says, the bee came to sip honey, but its feet got stuck to the honey pot and could not get away. We came to enjoy, but we are being enjoyed. We came to rule, but we are being ruled. We have come here to work, but we have been worked upon. This is life. So karma is individual and collective. It's like Vyashti and Samashti. It's also sentient and insentient, Chetana and Achetana. That is why even this external world is working. Yeah, everything sentient and insentient is under laws. The same laws that operate here also operate outside, in the earth, in the stars, and the planets, and the universe. So there are these extensions of these laws going on. So all physical and mental laws are nothing but karma. So if you find a huge earthquake, the whole cascade slipping down, don't blame yourself. That's the karma of the earth. moving and shifting, all these things. It works again on the same principles of karma, the higher dimensions of karma, of course. So this entire existence is bound by these laws. There are, of course, various levels of karma. The more subtle a work is, the more powerful it is. Now they say that's why it's better to work with the intellect rather than with the muscles. And we've been doing that. We used the old shovel, and now we've got these huge earth movers. We used to count on our fingers, and now we have the computers. It's just a kind of upgrade. The same old principles have been developed. So we are doing something which our ancestors for millions of years have been doing that, don't worry. They are also working under those laws. So you have mental work or intellectual work, moral work, spiritual work, physical work. All these are various levels or various categories of work. And then we have something called work that is according to the three forces of nature, the sattva and rajas and tamas. Tamas is that dark mind that seeks to injure. It goes towards crime and murder and etc., etc., etc. There is other type of work which is you put a passion. It is like being a workaholic. You work for name and fame and money and this and that. Yeah, at least that is better than the other one. And then there's a sattvic work. That's a calm, light and luminous and love and knowledge. So there are the three types of categories of work according to the three categories of nature. Patanjali in his yoga aphorism says there is something called black, white and the mixture of black and white, grey of course. So white is good work, black is bad work and the mixture. Generally we are doing a mixture of this black and white, the grey work. We are in the grey zone. People say I'm in the zone, you're in the grey zone. Because we don't know the consequences of certain things that we say and do. Yeah, I say something which is pleasing to someone and displeasing to someone else. So yeah, you're going to help somebody, you're going to harm somebody. So the consequences can come after a year or a month. See that stupid guy, he said that thing. Can you imagine he said it? The Bhagavad Gita says there is something called desirable work, undesirable work and a mixture of desirable and undesirable. Like fire, which is always associated with smoke, so does every work is associated with either good or bad. The idea is to get away from it. You cannot have a completely pure work. It's only when you become completely unselfish, then that work becomes very powerful and pure. So nature molds karma, we mold nature. This building wasn't here, this house wasn't, the street wasn't here, these trees weren't here. We've molded the surroundings and the surroundings again mold us. If we can learn from nature, and there is something called a biomimicry, machines and tools are being designed to mimic nature. There is a wealth of knowledge out there amongst all the species. The eye itself is such a remarkable organ, and we know how we can design cameras studying the eyes of even dragonflies. So there is a huge potential, and all these species have worked their way up. It's a long evolution. It hasn't come, like take for example dogs, and let's take dogs or fruits or vegetables and whatever. We've designed it. God made the dogs, we've been tinkering with the dogs for a long time, and we've been tinkering with the fruits and animals, etc. So here we are right now participants with nature because of our ability to work. Yeah. So we have karma. Of course, there are some people who keep on working. But karma also is subject to exhaustion. You get exhausted working, and you've got to take a rest. And again, karma is again subject to kind of a dullness. You keep repetitive work over and over and over again, you're going to get dull. Your brain is going to become mushy. We also have this idea that karma, after doing work for some time, sincerely, there is a form of kind of a renunciation that comes in. It's a form of sacrifice. I think you got it. When you work, you can work as a kind of a sacrifice. And that's why the Bhagavad Gita also says, whatever you say, do, eat, sleep, do it for me. That's so powerful. Yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yat juhosi. Do it for me. So here you have a kind of escape route through something that you are doing. So your karma becomes a worship, it becomes a sacrifice. It's renunciation. And as we know, the central doctrine of karma yoga is you keep on working intensely, but don't be attached to the results of work. And as mentioned, expectation. These things will come to you eventually. If you've done something good, it's going to come to you. If you do something bad, it's going to come to you. It's like, you are releasing a kind of a power from here. And like everything in the universe, it takes a circuit around. Everything is in a circular motion. There is no arrow of time. It comes back to its source. It will come back to it. It has to come back to it. It will seek you out. You bury yourself in the Amazon forest, or you bury yourself in the Sahara sands, it's going to come and seek you out and take you down or lift you up, whatever. Another aspect of this is each person has got talents, whether they are recognized or not, whether they have been manifest or not. The idea of differentiation between people has been wrought by karma, nothing else. What's the difference between you and me and everything? It's just work. And this has given rise to, the differentiation has been given rise to something called an innate ability, a talent. Every one of us are unique. Every single person, working person, except a dead person, of course. You see a dead person, there's no uniqueness in that. So this uniqueness is also the result of work done continuously, either in this life or in the past lives. And you have come to a point where you are uniquely fitted in this world. Like Swami Vivekananda, each is great in his or her own place. If you can recognize this, you will not look for greatness outside. You will look within. There is a utility for you being here. If you can understand that utility, you can exploit your talents, work, nothing can stop you. You become unstoppable. So before we can go into the 5 factors, I haven't come to the 5 factors. We'll just look at it briefly, of course. Sri Ramakrishna says, a person is born in this world to realize God. It is not good to forget that and divert the mind to other things. He also says, the goal of human life is to see God. So people say, what's the goal of life? Life is wrought, was tailored, designed, created by karma. So your karma has to lead you to this goal. You can remove the word God and replace it with something called reality or truth or existence, whatever. I'm using the old word because out of habit. So the 5 factors are, the Bhagavad Gita says, the locus, the location, the agent, the different kinds of organs, the many and distinct activities, and the divine ear is the 5th. Panchaitani mahabhavo karanani nibodabe sankhya kritanta proktani siddhe karvanam. This is, and then adhishthanam. So your body has to be located in a particular place. Karma has to be located in a particular place, and that is the body. Your body is the locus, the location for karma. Yeah, otherwise, where do you go? If you are disembodied, you will have trouble. That's why they say it's only in the human birth where there's a greater capacity to work and to know that you are working. So, adhishthanam is the body, the location of work. So, as I mentioned, some work is with a sense of self and some without the sense of self. The subconscious or unconscious work, that is, my heart is pumping, my lungs are expanding and contracting, otherwise I would have died. All that is work. So it's located here in the body. The body also has got these likes and dislikes and joys and sorrows, etc., etc. We know what it is. The body has its limitations. It's so fragile and yet it's so strong and powerful. Yeah, we take it for granted. It's the most perfectly designed system that has ever been designed by you and nature together. It has taken us billions and billions of years to come down to this point. I don't know how we are going to evolve further on. But at this point of time, all this is the result of work put in. Okay. The next is the sense of agency, the person who does this work. Now, where is this? It's obviously within the body, somewhere within the body. It's called a karta. So, adhishthanam tata karta. The agent, I feel I do. I am. So, this is the sense of the self. Vedanta will say, this is the individual soul. It's only the individual soul or the individual entity that works. If you don't have that sense of agency, you will not work. You will be like a kind of a blob of jelly doing nothing, just sitting down. So, this agent is, so it has its limiting adjuncts. Now, the individual soul has got, it's associated with the mind and the memories and the intelligence and the ordinary sense of the self, and then it has all the various, you can say, things that comprise its being able to work and to think and to remember. So this is important. Oh, I said that, I did that. Okay. The sense of the self. This is the individual soul, or individual self rather. Then we have the instruments. You see, the agent needs, it's got a location, it needs instruments. Suppose we never had these sense organs or the motor organs, the body would be useless, the agent would be useless completely. So it needs to go out in this world and apprehend or kind of perceive it. So our senses are completely designed to function in this external world. And the senses are functioning just to keep the body safe so that it survives. It's not for anything else, just for survival. Your consciousness is designed to survive here, individual consciousness, just to survive this world. So the various, you can say, activities of the senses, and the senses, the motor and the senses and everything else, these are the instruments through which the individual soul understands this world outside and works. And then vividascha pratak chesta, that is, you need to have that vitality, that vital forces within you. So the various vital forces are nothing but necessary instruments also, again, in the hands of the agent. So the agent has a kind of limited power of supply, not unlimited. It has instruments, it has a sense of the self, and it has all these equipment so that it can survive and work. So this, I won't go into the elaborate descriptions which have been mentioned in the scriptures. So the agent is identified with the locus, the body, and the instruments. This is the agent. And is that all? Right? Oh yeah, that's all. What more do you want? No, but the scriptures say another thing, and which is extremely important. Daivam chaivatra pancham. There is the fifth factor. That's important. Now, in some of our previous talks, we have been speaking about that this world is suffused with divinity. It appears insentient, dull, godless, hopeless, useless. That's a wrong perception. The very basis of existence is divine. And so, every aspect of this creation have these divinities. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. You live and die, and everything lives and dies. But there is a kind of a sense of immortality. I will not die. Maybe the body will die, but I'm not going to die. So the idea of immortality has been firmly implanted in her. And all the religions and everything have been trying to exploit this. See, I told you, you are immortal. You can't die. Yeah. And then there are the materialists. Oh yeah, everything ends with death. Not everything. There's something that survives. So this idea of the whole of creation being guided by divinities is an established fact in Vedanta. This is, in fact, this is one of the first steps to understand Vedanta. Now, if the external world has got these various aspects of divinities, in that case, now there comes the fine point in Vedanta. Those deities also have to be within me. In fact, we are crowded with divinities. You may not know. So, where's divinity? They are within you. It's like this. The divinities outside, their counterparts are within you. I think this is clear. So, we say eyes, or we see color. The sun is the cause of it. So, we have the sun god and the moon god and the rain god and the cloud god and everything. They are all divinities. Even the 5 vital forces, all the senses and all the motor organs have got their respective deities that make things work. If you can understand that the counterparts of the deities are also within me, they are functioning. And that's why the Bhagavad Gita says, Daivam Chaiva. Daiva, that is the divine, is the 5th element within you. So, apart from the locus, the agent, the instruments and the vital forces, the 5th is the divinity, and which completes the picture. So, if you can understand these 5 factors, 5 constituents of action, then every action becomes divinized. So, that ordinary action of yours has now become transformed. I want to give you the long list of divinities associated inside. Like, for instance, the intellect is presided over by the god Brahma, one who gave the Vedas. The sense of I, self, the ordinary sense, is presided over by Rudra Shiva. The mind which always deliberates has got another deity called the moon, and Vishnu is one that remembers. So, they have associated each and every function with a particular deity. So, the mind and the body and the senses, etc., are all having their respective deity. So, when you work, you are doing something which is guided by divinities, and you are doing something which is within the divine realm. As I chanted in the beginning, these very the god of fire, Agni, is my speech. You hear fiery speeches, that person was lashed with this person's tongue. The speech is more powerful than, the pen is more powerful than the sword, etc., etc. So, and then he's saying that god of speech is in my heart, and I am that immortality, and immortality rests in Brahman. So, even the gods are resolved back to their respective immortal nature, and that immortal nature is within you. Beyond all these 5 factors, there is something called a space of consciousness within each and every one of us. That is Brahman, that is immortality, and in this space, everything is merged in. The deities, you, the sense of self, everything is merged inside. That is pure consciousness. So, that pure consciousness is within us, and it can be accessed through thinking of these divinities, that all actions and all thoughts and words, etc., are presided over by these divinities. They are within me, they are within my heart, and this heart is in my immortality, which is within the supreme space of consciousness. And I am that Brahman. Okay. So, these are the 5 constituents of every work. If you can understand it, you will become immortal. You will become divine. That's the idea. So the karma that was being done as a kind of instinctive or kind of deliberative karma, or something that has been done with a sense of calculation, if I do this, I'll get this, all those things are wiped off, erased. Now you understand the deeper aspects of karma as leading you to your own immortality. That is what Sri Ramakrishna says, that you are born to work and to see God. Om, peace, peace, peace.